The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
What this quote is saying is that big things are accomplished through small but concrete steps. Your dreams and life goals are realized by charting a course and taking that first step. The first step is the most important because even if you have big plans, they won't come true if you don't take it. So whatever your goal, spend time thinking about what your first step is, and then get it done.
Taking things lightly must lead to big difficulties.
What you are being advised here is that treating minor issues as if they were major ones teaches you to take things seriously. Not only should we think about what we want to do before we do it, but we should also think about what seems so insignificant that we have no desire to deal with it at all. Ignorance and indifference, particularly the latter, pose a danger.
Taste, the tasteless.
The idea here is to increase one's sensitivity by restricting one's exposure to stimuli. Sensations dull the senses. When your sensitivity grows, you will be able to taste what appears to be tasteless. You are now more sensitive to nuance and pay attention to the details. With increased sensitivity, you become more aware of the significance of the small things. This is another way of saying moderation is synonymous with prevention. When you are observing the glimpses and listening to the whispers, you are more aware of things as they appear. No matter how small they are and how they appear insignificant, if you carefully consider their potential consequences, you may be able to avoid future problems.
Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished.
This quote wants you to let nature inspire you. Nature moves slowly, but everything gets done. Oftentimes, the more hurried you are, the less you accomplish. The more pressure applied, the less positive the results. When you plant a seed, you nurture the seed, water it, and even if all you see is a seed in the dirt, you know in your heart that a beautiful flower will emerge from it soon. You can't stand by your flower bed and yell, "It's time, grow, I need you to bloom now." Everything takes time, and this applies to more than just plant growth. It applies to you as a person. If you have a vision or dream that you want to achieve, enjoy the journey rather than hurrying it. When you rush, you are moving away from your goal rather than toward it. Give yourself permission to learn, be patient, and have unwavering faith. The more relaxed you are and the more time and space you give it, the faster and easier it will be to achieve your desired results.
I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures.
This quote points to the foundations of the philosophy of life in general. While the 3 items appear simple enough, they are far more difficult to achieve and maintain than most people realize, particularly in this day and age of high-speed everything. Simplicity. While everyone claims to be a minimalist and to want to simplify their lives, very few actually do it. The best you can do is look at how you can make your own life simpler. When things are simple, it is easier to do what needs to be done, learn, understand, and even remember them. Patience. It is critical to be patient because inspiration can strike at any time. You can't make it happen. The same is true for how we interact with each other on a daily basis. Compassion. At the end of the day, if you lack compassion, you are not a human being. We must show compassion all the time as it displays caring, even for people we do not like.
The wise man is one who knows what he does not know.
What the quote is telling you is that you must have the wisdom to recognize that you cannot know everything. Even if you believe you know everything there is to know, you should be wise and humble enough to admit that there is always more to learn in the world. Any man who believes he has learned everything is a fool.
Those who understand others are clever. Those who understand themselves are wise.
Knowing others, just like knowing things, is important, but knowing yourself and what makes you tick, is the key to all greater and deeper understanding. When you understand others, you are able to figure out how to deal with them to get the best out of them. But when you know yourself, you are free from the limitations both you and society places on you. By having a keen self-awareness, then you can be empowered to make the changes necessary to your life. You will be able to identify those areas in your life that need to be improved or strengthened.
Mold clay into a bowl. The empty space makes it useful.
Think of this quote this way. A rich man can have a gold bowl and a poor man can have a clay bowl, but when they go to fill it with water from a well, the water is the same. The empty space, therefore, has the same value. In this world, we have a tendency to judge things and people based on their outward appearance. The size of our houses, the cost of our cars and clothes, and the shape of our bodies. But appearances do not dictate value. We talk too much, listen too little, and don't appreciate the silence, which contains incredible value.
Fill your bowl to the brim, and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife, and it will blunt.
What this quote is simply saying is don't push yourself too hard. Trying too hard can sometimes make you perform worse. Sharpen your knife until it is razor sharp, then begin chopping. Don't keep sharpening. This is a way you tend to procrastinate in and of itself. In some ways, this is similar to reading books. Reading books and learning something new is wonderful, but eventually you need to go out into the world at large and begin putting these ideas into practice, instead of just reading many more books to gain more and more knowledge that you never put to use.
See others as yourself. See families as your family. See towns as your town. See countries as your country. See worlds as your world.
Lao Tzu in this quote is not implying that you should treat strangers in the same manner and love that you do those you are close to. It's possible that's what he means, but it could also be a way of saying that by comparing yourself to other people, their needs and actions can help you understand them better. You must first understand yourself if you want to understand others. When you see others as yourself, you begin to treat them the way you want to be treated. The same goes for countries, towns, and the wider world.
What's the difference between yes and no? What's the difference between beautiful and ugly? Must one dread what others dread?
This quote calls into question the possibility of polarities. Are opposites really that dissimilar? It's really all about your perception. Then Lao Tzu asks if you have to fear what others fear. He appears to imply that in society, judgments about what is preferable or not are based in fear. Many of our decisions as an individual, and as a group, are based in fear. The dread mentioned by Lao Tzu here is more of a social one. Society forms prejudices about what is and is not acceptable, and this prejudice is rife with fear. People rush to live up to what they believe is expected of them, and without a second thought, curse anything else. You should try to not do that.
We gain by losing, lose by gaining.
These words give you some things to consider. Of the things you have in your life, money, hobbies, social media accounts, friends, do you have too little, too much, or is just enough? Are you lowering the quality of your work when you take on more tasks or responsibilities at work? Are you taking time away from your partner or family when you start a new regular activity, such as a hobby or going to the gym? Is your stress level reducing as you hustle to earn more money from your investments? What about making new friends while losing old ones? Challenge yourself today to think about what you're gaining and losing consciously. It can be insignificant or life-changing, but you are either gaining or losing. What are you giving up by having a second or third piece of cake? What do you gain by losing your cool with the person in line before you?